Good afternoon, everyone. This is Juank Tamayo from JCT for Education. Here we are for you. And today we have a very special guest. Our guest, I've known her for years, and she is absolutely wonderful. I call her the voice of international admissions. She is all over the world. She's a huge advocate for international students and also domestic students. So here we are, our guest for today. She works here in admissions, and I see that she just joined us. And let me invite, ta-da-da-da, ta-da-da-da. We're waiting. It's coming, it's coming. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are with Ffiona Rees from University of California, Los Angeles. Welcome to you, Ffiona. How are you?
I'm great, Wonka. How are you and your team doing?
Keep We're doing really well. We are all
Good.
working from home. Probably you're doing the same. And this is my day
Yes,
number
I am.
21.
Okay.
So
Yeah, this is,
we have a little bit of
yeah, I guess I'm about the same. It's finishing up my third week.
your third week. And
Yeah.
Fiona, tell us a little bit about yourself. Right now, you're the Senior Associate Director of Admissions at University of California, Los Angeles, correct?
Yep, I am indeed.
And I
Yes.
promise to you that I won't tell our students, our parents, our faculty and staff and colleagues from around the world that I won't tell what year did you start in admissions. But I will ask you a few questions, so they probably will do the math.
Okay.
Fiona, I picked a really cool accent. Where are you from?
So my father is originally from Wales, hence the wacky spelling of my name with the double F. Useless information for you in your Gaelic language lesson of the day. I know yesterday you had Duolingo, so consider this to be a continuation of your language lesson, is that two F's gives you an F sound, but one F gives you a V sound. So it would technically be Ffiona Rees. So I grew up between Washington, D.C. and England. And so every so often when I say things like classroom, grass, water, you'll hear my accent come out.
I absolutely love it. I know that I make fun of your accent like you never do of my accent, but I will go back to Duolingo and get back on that application. But thank you so much for joining us today,
Oh, it's
Friday.
really my pleasure.
We're so excited to have you on board, and I have a lot of questions. But Fiona, we have the students watching, and this is their time. For seniors, they are about to make final decisions, and for juniors, they're still exploring. Where did you go to high school? Where did you go to college?
So I went to high school in England. So I went through the UK educational system, and then decided at the end of it that I didn't know what I wanted to study in college and loved the US liberal arts approach to education. So decided to go ahead and apply to university. As I said, I was born and raised in and around DC. So I don't know if I necessarily would have looked quite so close to home if I'd really gone to high school in the DC area. But after looking at a bunch of places, I ended up going to George Washington University in DC. And then I worked there for my first 15 years in the profession. Here's where the math kicks in. So I did 15 years at GW, and then I moved out to sunny California and to UCLA, and I am nearly finishing up my 8th year.
Wow. So I won't do the math. Don't worry. I won't do the math. But again, thank you so much.
Oh,
I
yay,
wanted
you got your...
T-shirt, but I have my
Excellent.
banner. So thank you so much. You had it at college fair, so I picked that up. Thank you for my UCLA banner.
Is it just me or is it upside down?
Oops, right here. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Fiona.
It's okay, I'm wearing my UCLA shirt there.
Let me see. Who designed that shirt?
So every year the students do a design and they have a design contest. And so I've got most of them from this year. So this year is from 2019. They go ahead and put it on the shirt.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
So it's sort of fun.
Fiona, I worked in admissions many months ago. I've been independent for 9 years, and I remember those days, and I believe they're the same, just with more electronics, technology, and so forth. How many applications do you guys get every year?
Yeah, UCLA has the dubious distinction of being the most applied to university in the United States. In a way, the good news for us for the last 2 years is that we've actually gone down in applications. So this year we had just under 109,000 freshman applications. And then we had a little over 24,000 transfer applications.
Okay.
But
Wow.
rest assured, every single one of them is read in its entirety. We really want to get to know students. So don't be put off by the numbers.
And how large is your freshman and transfer class?
It varies a little bit from year to year, but we generally bring in about 6,000 freshmen and about 3,000 transfers.
Okay. So for those of you that you are just joining us, we have Ffiona Rees from University of California, Los Angeles,
I
Office
just
of
see that my
Admissions.
cousin joined. Hi,
Your
Chloe.
cousin. Hello,
Yeah.
cousin. Hello. And we have Fiona here talking. This is a conversation. It's Friday, and after here, many of you probably gonna go and celebrate with your families. We're having Zoom family meetings. The students are meeting their friends, parents are meeting their families, and so forth. So I want to say thank you again, Fiona, for joining us this afternoon. I know you've been really busy with getting the freshman class in. Where, if you were traveling today, where would you be as of today?
Yeah, so usually at this time of the year, I am out meeting with our admitted students. So what is today? Friday?
Yes.
According to the schedule, was supposed to be coming from Mumbai and going to Dubai, and I would have been doing a program on Friday evening in Dubai before going to Istanbul tomorrow.
Okay. So Fiona, how are you guys handling now that you cannot travel? Your accepted dates. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's actually an interesting mixture in that I think for all universities, we were trying to finish making our decisions and getting those decisions out the door at the same time that all of this changed very dramatically. And so really within a very few short weeks, we've had to shift everything that we would have been doing and have been two welcome sessions. We did one at 9 a.m. in California and then one at 8 p.m. so that most people in the world could tune in. And then we're actually doing another one this Sunday at 6 a.m., which is going to be a little painful because it works for the rest of the world, but that one's actually a student panel. So as bizarre as it sounds, by doing a lot more of these online virtual sessions, I actually think students nothing's going to make up for being able to visit the campus. Let's start there. However, their opportunity to learn and to learn more of as a family, I think, is actually greater this year than it's ever been. The UCLA, at least, is in the process of starting yesterday. Every single day, we've got some type of virtual event. And in many, many days, there's multiple events. It could be from hearing from faculty, hearing from different departments, having student panels. Yesterday, we did an Instagram Live where they had a couple students who were being interviewed and students could ask questions. So there's just a lot of different ways for students to engage and to try and learn about the process.
Fiona,
and I think...
And technology
Go ahead.
has been working well during those seminars?
Knock on wood. So far, so good. So, God willing, we'll be okay.
Good. Well, we have a few people joining in. Again, we are with Ffiona Rees from University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. And I have a couple questions for you. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, I have two questions for you that are coming from the audience. One of the questions is, you guys made a big announcement this week, the UC system and the standardized testing. Can you touch upon that one? Because a lot of students are digesting this information. What does it mean?
Yeah, sure. So the University of California, yep, I can hear you. I got the gist of the question, to talk about the UC announcements. We've been having these discussions internally for at least a couple of weeks now, if not a couple of months, as it related to different parts of the world and what was happening. And all of it is really driven by what is in the best interests of students. So a vast majority of the announcement was for the incoming seniors and transfer students about what it is that we will still require and what changes we're making as far as flexibility, understanding that schools might be going to pass fail. And historically, we would say we need to see the letter grades, but understanding why they've done that. And so wanting to work with them there, wanting to make sure that students are still able to come in with advanced standing credit if they can. Part of the announcement was about AP. We were waiting to get a little bit more information from IB and A levels, but I think now that we've got those, hopefully those announcements will be coming as a system fairly soon. The one piece of the announcement that's getting a huge piece of sort of press and national press is about essentially being testing optional for next year. And the rationale behind that is, and we understand that the testing agencies are saying that they're going to increase the number of tests that are available, but we know that statistically, a student, even if they do nothing else, is going to go up between their first and their second sitting. Well, if students only have the ability to take the test once, and it's harder to take a test a second time, well, that's automatically putting students at a disadvantage. It's putting students at a disadvantage if they don't have technology at home. And as a state institution for California, we have to be cognizant that many of our students may be struggling to be able to take advantage of all of the online resources that can be available. But that's all fine and good. But if you are trying to struggle for bandwidth with other family members, that may or may not be too easy.
Okay, Fiona. And so I guess your admission raters are going to be really busy. I had a session yesterday with one of my students, and I said, this is the time when you're doing online courses with your high school that you have to work in and turning those assignments in on time, always going to the online class, assignments, and so forth, because I believe you're going to be looking at those transcripts with a microscope. Am I correct?
Yes and no.
Okay.
You are correct in as much that all things being equal, this not have happened. The junior year and the end of the junior year is always, in a way, the most important because it's the most recent coursework. So we're always going to place the most emphasis there. However, it's still a holistic process, and this is, so yes, I think that's where you're correct.
Okay.
But I also recognize that this is a really tough time for all of us. And I think we need to acknowledge that it's okay to not be okay right now. Okay. And so first and foremost, focus on yourself, focus on your family, focus on your own well-being. And I know that's a lot of what you're doing as well with these chats.
Yes.
So yes, focus on your junior year because it is really important, but also know that we as universities are going to understand.
Perfect.
We understand if your school is, as I said, switched to pass fail this year. Like you can't go back and, it maybe isn't that great if you were tracking for an A, but we also understand that life is happening at the moment. And so we don't want to penalize students.
Perfect. So this is when a high school profile comes very instrumental for you guys as well, for those high school counselors that are watching us from around the world. Time to make some updates on each of your profiles. I will do the same one for me. And I have couple more last questions, but right now I've been talking to a lot of parents, particularly with our population from Latin America. And the dollar has appreciated against the peso, the Mexican peso, the Colombian peso, and so forth. Some currencies that they have depreciated 25%, and yet they're attending institutions not only here in the United States, but around the world. There is a talk about everything goes back, hopefully, to normal, students back to school, but we don't know. We are living day by day. What happens if we continue with this trend and we have to go online for the fall? Our fees for universities are going to be the same tuition-wise? Any conversations that you guys have been having amongst yourself, and have you heard anything from colleagues?
Yeah, let me answer this in a couple different ways. One of which is that, I'm not the one that personally sets the tuition for the University of California system. But what I can share is that I know there was a conversation about actually looking at fees and the way we do things, and our Board of Regents put it on hold. They said this is not the time that we want to be doing any new changes for families. It's just not fair. So again, I would hope that universities would continue to be to do what is in the best interests of families. Now, at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we can keep our own doors open. So, for example, for UCLA, we're on a quarter system, so we're a little bit different. But the last week or two went on to finals for finals, and those went online for students. And we have just started back for our spring quarter. Now, the university made the announcement and said, we're going to be online. Our dorms do remain open. Anyone is welcome to stay. Our residence halls remain open. The dining halls are open for grab and go. So you need to let us know if you would like to move out, and then they are reimbursing students for however much they are not living in the dorms.
Okay.
So I think that's probably where families will see, in a way, the biggest savings. The reality is for universities is they're all trying not to lay off individuals. So even, I'm going to use the dorms and the dining halls as an example, we don't want to lay off our staff. So we need to keep paying them. So universities are likely to be making significant losses at this moment of time. You've still got faculty who are teaching. Many of us have had to have massive investments in technology for teaching online. So I know in some respects it seems like, well, I'm not getting taught in the same way, therefore I should get some money back. It's not quite that simple. What I guess I would advise your families, especially for those who are entering or who have students, is just be in touch with their financial aid offices if your situation has changed. Again, we want to do whatever we can to try and help the students who we have admitted and who are already enrolled at our institutions. So no guarantees, but we are valiantly trying.
Thank you, Fiona. And for those of you that are watching, I am with Ffiona Rees, UCLA Admissions, California. And Fiona and I had the honor to serve on the board for International ACAC. Fiona was my boss. She was our president. She did a fantastic job.
I don't know that anyone's ever your boss.
As our president, but also Fiona is currently on the board for National Association of College Admission Counselors for NACAC. And we're so proud of you, Fiona. You are the voice of education. You are amazing. I know you are so busy, and I'm so thankful for this space that you're offering us and for the parents and families that are watching. We will have a financial aid director next week. We're looking for Thursday. We're going to be talking about dollars and cents. But Fiona, before I let you go, because I know you have to do a lot of things, it's Friday, you're wrapping up. Tell us, Fiona loves walking and hiking. So now that we are all confined in our little places, how do you do it? I mean, you wake up and what about your hiking? Are you watching YouTube for hikes? How do you keep in shape? And tell me a little bit about that before we go.
Sure. So I actually have my 80-year-old father staying with me. He wouldn't like if I publicly broadcast his age. So I'm being really conscious about not trying to go out too much and not wanting to very much stay at home. But he and I do go for walks, usually once in the early morning and then once sort of in the evening when things are fairly quiet. We just walk around the neighborhood, which you can see behind me. I spend a lot of time in the afternoon sitting out on the balcony just to get a little bit of fresh air. And I have been trying to go out on bike rides during the week. Again, keeping away from other people and being solitary, but at least I get out and get a little bit of me time, even if it's just for 20 minutes a day.
And how are your cooking skills?
I don't know that I've ever actually cooked for myself this long in one stretch, given how much I usually travel.
I know it is. But Fiona, again, happy Friday. Thank you so much.
Happy Friday.
This time I have it correct. And I want to thank you for your leadership,
your
mentorship. You have been an amazing mentor to many, many of us. And we love you, my friend. Stay well and see you soon, hopefully.
Well, same to all of you and your families. Take care.
Adios.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. For you.